everybody, my apologies again, because I'm always doing that. I really wanted to do more vlogs more often, and it's been, like over a month, probably closer to 2 months since I've done one of these, so I'm nothing if not consistent. In the intervening days and weeks and months, things have been happening. Obviously videos have been going up, but I've got some new acquisitions that I felt would be kind of fun to share with you all, just in a more off-the-cuff sort of manner. I will be getting to them eventually. It's just, this stuff takes time. I've got a lot of stuff, and now I've got a bit of a backlog again because I have no self-control. So first up, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen this, but I got my hands on the Super Mini Plug Voltron, and this thing is adorable and really cool. And I do intend to do a video on it eventually, just a matter of, again, making the time, getting to it. But yeah, very, very cool. I wanted to do a build video on this, kind of, but when I started messing with it, it took me like 2 hours to get the Black Lion done, and that was just, no. I'm sorry, I love you all, but I'm not devoting that kind of time to this. I just realistically would not be able to handle that whole undertaking with all the filming and the editing and stuff. It would have been way too much, especially because in this past month one of the side jobs kicked up a lot of activity, and that was on the plus side though, that increased activity meant a larger than usual paycheck, and I just had birthdays, so that means even more goodies. So okay, yeah, if anyone follows me on Instagram, again, you'll probably have seen most of this stuff, but I finally got this, and there's a reason I didn't get this before. But I now have the Transform Dreamwave upgrade kit for Volcanicus, and I'm just gonna spoil it for you now. This thing is pretty awesome. Definitely have some issues with it, but altogether, with the repro labels and everything, it looks glorious, and I am happy. I actually had that upgrade kit pre-ordered for a couple of months, I think, and it came in at the Chosen Prime where I had it pre-ordered, and I sat on it and sat on it and sat on it because I was keeping it in my stash because I was waiting for this to come in. And as of this recording, as far as I'm aware, the Chosen Prime still doesn't have Challenger in stock, so I ended up having to cancel my pre-order and got mine off of Toy Dojo instead, who I think they still have them in stock. So if you're looking for a Challenger right now, I think Toy Dojo has you set. This guy did come with all of the extras, like all the add-ons, the knife for Peru Kill, the 2 different sized Merlin staffs, and all that good stuff. I double checked too. He had all his tires. The shield peg it wasn't so tight that it would shear off, and the paint seemed fine. The one issue that this guy did end up having is the rear smokestacks were in there too tight, and in the process of transforming, even though I was careful, one of them did snap off, so I had to fix it, and it's basically just fused in place at this point, but I don't care. It doesn't really affect the truck mode that much. But regardless, I now have Challenger, and this thing is delicious. It's pretty much as awesome as Peru Kill. I kind of prefer Peru Kill's transformation a little bit more, but this guy, very cool, very worth it. And I will definitely be doing a video on him in the future where I can talk a little bit more about some of the issues that I have just in terms of the design and stuff like that. But yeah, Challenger is in the works and in the house apparently. And it's entirely this guy's fault that it took me forever to get to the Transform Dreamwave upgrade kit. Then, as a further treat to myself, which I feel like I'm just bragging at this point, but I guess I am sort of, because it's, it's my birthday, so to speak, so deal with it. But next on the agenda for things that I got my hands on is Mastermind Creations Aether Beta. I don't know why, I don't get the Aether thing, but yeah, this thing, freaking great. I love this thing. I was a little bit on the fence about it when I first got it because the swords were just kind of in the way, and This sheath, for whatever reason, is super tight, and I was really afraid to put the sword in there all the way because I was afraid I wouldn't get it back. But then I realized he's based on Deadlock, and Deadlock doesn't use swords, so just has his gun, and now he is awesome, and I love him, and this figure is so cool. I am very, very glad I finally got my hands on this guy. I had my eye on this guy for a while and just kept getting other things kind of ahead of that and kept putting it off, but very, very cool figure. Very, very cool. And I will go into more detail in the future at some point in a separate video. Along with that, I also got my hands on Iron Factory's Burning Slug, and it's funny because I originally got the Racing Brothers set from Iron Factory, and I wasn't super enthusiastic about it, and I didn't think I was going to really be getting any other Iron Factory stuff, but I really like Warpath, and I really like this rendition of Warpath, and this is a really nice figure. I mean, this has pretty much single-handedly turned me around on Iron Factory. Now I've got my eye on more of their stuff now. This thing is so cool. I love how the weaponry incorporates into the alt mode, like it actually becomes part of it. I love it when toys do that because I hate all this clutter and unnecessary parts that I have to like keep off to the side in one mode or the other. So stuff that's all-encompassing is fantastic, and this thing is so tiny and it pulls that off so well. It's just kind of a marvel. But yes, Burning Slug will also be getting his own video soon. But that's not the only Warpath I got my hands on. See, when I first got back into collecting, which was at this point 2 or 3 years ago, I want to say 3 years ago, when I first got back into collecting, I watched a bunch of videos on various figures, learned how third party was a thing and that existed, and so on. And one of the figures that caught my attention really early on was this thing. And I really, really wanted to get it. And then, you know, put it on the back burner for all this other stuff. And then it just kind of went by the wayside for a while. Then, thanks to, you know, a little bit of extra cash coming in, I was like, you know what? I think it's time. And someone actually had this thing listed on eBay in very good condition, like collector grade condition basically. Like it was used, but like collector owned, in good shape, all that stuff. Plus repro labels. And actually was selling for about 15 or 20 bucks less with the repro labels than it would if I just got it on its own. So I was kind of like, okay, I will take that as a sign, and I will pick up Bad Cube War Dog. And, oh boy, transforming this guy is an event, but he is so cool. I really, really dig this guy. It's a process, like I said, transforming him back and forth is a process, but he is a very, very cool figure, and I am very much looking forward to talking about him in more detail at a future date. That's technically it for the new acquisitions, because that's all I've got. I actually have more stuff in the mail, but thankfully, US Customs is terrible right now, and so I've got 2 different packages that are actually sitting in Customs and have been sitting in Customs for a lot longer than they normally do. So maybe within the next month I'll get this stuff. I don't know. It's just frustrating to me to think that it's sitting there. You know, I could literally just take a train to where this stuff comes in and go pick it up myself, but it's got to make it through Customs first. So that's just... That's what I've currently got in the mail, as well as the order I'm waiting for Big Bad Toy Store to process. Like I said, I lack self-control. And I forgot, I got a couple of QT Transformers, and they're so cute, and I love them. They are adorable. And thankfully, a lot of these things use the same basic design, like all the cars are the same, all the jets are the same, so because of that, I don't feel compelled to collect all of them. So that'll be a space saver for me. But that doesn't mean I haven't been keeping myself busy with other stuff, because believe it or not, I'm actually not done with Power of the Prime's Leader Class Optimus. In addition to the repro labels that I've put on him, I actually started doing some custom work. I painted some stuff on there. I don't know if you could see it from there, but I actually painted the lights on his chest and also the cab for the smaller Orion Pax mode. So I just think that works really, really well. And then I went in and did some panel lining, painted a few other spots, detailed up the thighs there. And again, there's some more stuff for Orion packs, but I'm not going to take them apart to show that right now. But yeah, I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to do yet another enhanced edition video on this guy, because I already did the figure study and I did the enhanced edition, and I feel like it might be a bit much to give him yet another video. But if you all are interested in seeing a little bit more detail on this guy and some of the paint job stuff that I did and the panel lining and all that, then by all means let me know and I'll see what I can do. And lastly, there's the factor of me being a complete liar when I said I wasn't going to get the repro labels that would inevitably come out for Titan's Return Repugnus, because I totally got the repro labels that came out for Titan's Return Repugnus. And I really like them. It's the whatever you want to call it, the like textured eyes stickers that they came out with for him, that really sold me on it, and so I got that, and I will eventually be doing an enhanced edition video on this as well. But in addition to that, I couldn't help myself, and I did a little bit of custom work on him as well. So when the enhanced edition comes out for this guy, it's not going to just be about repro labels. A couple of really simple things. I just painted the behind the eyes white, like on the inside of the head, because it makes them pop so much more. And I really like the effect that that gives, even with the little grids and stuff. So yeah, did that. And other thing is, this is something I was talking about in the Repugnus video before, and I did this, I finally did it, and it works, and it's awesome. If you all remember, one of the problems with Titan's Return Repugnus is he can't move his arms out in bug mode, because Hasbro designed him really stupidly for some reason, even though the promotional artwork for this toy in this mode on the box shows his arms moving outward. But by filing down the corners, I actually made it so that you can actually move his arms out, so you can get some proper Repugnus posability going here. And this makes me very happy.
There you go.
And this makes me very happy. I love that I can do this now, because that was my big complaint with his bug mode, is that I just couldn't angle his arms out, even just a little bit. And now I can, and oh, it's wonderful. I really, really like this, and I'm very much looking forward to talking about it at length in the future. But yes, love this, and the mod is doable, and I will break it down. I actually might end up doing a repair bay, I think, just to kind of break down like exactly what I did. It'd be a very short video, but hey, if you all are curious, it might be worth it, because I feel like anyone who has this guy will probably want to make it so that his arms can do this, so we will see. One other thing that I'm actually way more excited about than I probably should be, because it's really dumb. So, Unique Toys Ragnaros, right back there. Their Vortex and Blastoff, those two came with these little red plastic bits that I didn't know what they were. They looked like they might have been replacement eyes for something, but they looked too tiny for any of the individual bots. And by pure chance, I was watching a video put up by TM Reviews. I don't know if anyone here's heard of that channel or not, but probably have. Seems more popular than this one. But yeah, TM Reviews did a video talking about Ragnaros, and just off the cuff made mention of the spare eyes that came with the two limb guys. And that got me realizing that the eyes, even though there were two for some reason, they are actually meant for the combined mode head. And that got me super excited, because I finally figured out what those stupid pieces were for. And so yeah, it was just a matter of popping Ragnaros's combined mode faceplate off, popping the old translucent eyes out, which are pointlessly translucent because there's no lighting in there. There's no thing for light piping. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, and then popping the solid red ones in, and it's gonna be hard to tell from here, but The eyes pop a lot better now. Actually, I'm going to put a photo of the head in close-up up on the screen right now. And you can see that the eyes actually show up a lot better with the solid red instead of that translucent red. And one last thing on the, I guess the event list for things to talk about. Last week, Diana and I actually went to the Museum of the Moving Image and got to see the Jim Henson exhibition, which has lots and lots of Muppets and original sketches and various details about what went into making some of the puppets and the design of the characters and the shows, and it was so amazing. They had the original Kermit puppet, Cookie Monster, Rolf, and freaking Big Bird. Big Bird is a big bird. And I think probably my favorite thing was they had one of the Skeksis from the Dark Crystal, and that was really cool. Because I love the Dark Crystal. I mean, I know everyone prefers Labyrinth over Dark Crystal because David Bowie probably, but personally I'm more into Dark Crystal than Labyrinth. Not that I think Labyrinth is bad, it's just I prefer Dark Crystal. I just love the imagery in that movie. On the toy news front, I have seen some stuff on Transformers Siege, or War for Cybertron Siege, or whatever they're calling it. I'm just calling it Siege because it's easier. And it's funny, I rolled my eyes when I first saw the promotional images back at whatever con they announced it at. But now that I'm actually seeing some videos coming out for these things, most specifically from Vault Matrix, because somehow he's managed to get like the entire line in advance. I don't know what kind of favors he had to call in for that, but good job, man. But yeah, after watching his videos, that series is going to be bad for me. It's almost every single thing, with a couple of exceptions, but almost every single thing I've seen so far from Siege looks really nice, and I really want it, and I feel like it's been said before, and I agree, I feel like Hasbro and Takara really brought their A game for this this whole series. It looks like there's a lot of thought that went into the engineering, and it's more paint, and not just the stupid weathering thing. I mean, it looks like parts are actually painted. Like, I don't know what they were doing, I don't know what made them able to suddenly do this, but I approve. It looks freaking fantastic, and I mean, we get another Duocon. I was hoping for that. But yeah, really excited about Siege, and that is going to destroy my wallet and probably force me to clear out a lot of stuff to make space, because as I've said in the past, New York apartment, shelf space is limited. I gotta be realistic. But I am very excited for Siege. I'm very looking forward to that. But you know what I'm looking forward to more than Siege? Studio Series Constructicons. Oh, I forget which video it was, but it was one of the Studio Series videos where I was ruminating on like what types of characters I'd like to see get the Studio Series treatment. And I believe I did mention it would be cool to get some of the Constructicons again. And they're doing that, and I am so happy. I don't even care if they end up not quite meeting expectations or whatever. I am just super stoked for it. And I mean, I still have Mixmaster and Rampage, and I'm going to keep them forever because I love them dearly. But I am very excited to see some Studio Series Constructicons that can combine to make Devastator. As long as he doesn't have the Wrecking Ball thing going on, I am all in for a Studio Series Devastator, because I actually, even though I know it's not, classic Devastator, I actually think the idea behind the movie Devastator was pretty cool. It was just this big hulking troll thing made up of multiple vehicles. And yeah, I'm super excited for that. And they're even doing a couple of other Studio Series that really have my attention too, like Bone Crusher. I actually really like Bone Crusher. There's some limitations with that deluxe figure that I was a little bit about, but I like the movie Bone Crusher design, and him getting a Studio Series figure also interests me greatly. Megatron, I don't know. I haven't seen enough of the figure to know for sure, but what I have seen has me thinking I'm probably going to be fine with Dark of the Moon Megatron, but still, I'm curious to see what comes out, and I am super stoked for those Constructicons. Now all they need to do is just announce some more movie masterpiece figures, like, say, Starscream, Jazz, Sideswipe, Dino. Like, I'd be down for a lot of different movie masterpiece Decepticons and Autobots. I hope they do more. I really do. But in the meantime, that is going to do it. I think enough words have come out of my face. It's time to put a stop to this. So, thank you everybody for watching, and thank you for watching all the way through, if in fact you did that, because woof, that was a slog, wasn't it? It has been an eventful few weeks, or months, since I recorded one of these, but just in the past few weeks with like birthday stuff and whatnot, it has been pretty eventful, and I'm very much looking forward to what we've got coming out in the future. So, with that said, thank you all for watching, and in this case, sticking with it to the end, and I will see you next time. And I almost forgot, I was thinking of doing a separate video on this, but I might as well throw it in the tail end here. If you are done listening to me talk and don't want to hear me rant about a certain Lego-themed website, then, you know, thanks for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Otherwise, let's talk about MOCHUB. So, as I said in the video for Phobia, which was a really, really awesome spider robot transformer design, a Lego spider transformer robot designed by Mindbender. You know, very cool idea. MOCHUB is a site that basically gets these Lego kit designs from other designers and sources the pieces themselves. And when you order these kits, they put the pieces together, put the kits together, like not together, they compile them. They get them all organized into one pouch, basically, or one pile. And they get everything collected, put it in a box, and send it off to you, and you get video instructions, and when you get the kit, you basically put it together like a regular Lego kit, and it's really cool. And you've also got things like, you know, some of the money that you spend on these mock kits goes towards the designers, which is fantastic. I love that idea, and I think it's cool that, you know, for someone like Mindbender or any of the other really cool Lego designers who have their stuff up on MOCHUB, that you can buy their stuff and they get a little bit of money from what you buy. And it cuts out the tedium of trying to track down all these pieces yourself. So, it, you know, you pay a little bit extra, but it cuts out that process, which is a fantastic idea. In practice, I have not had anything but problems with MOCHUB. It could just be coincidental, maybe I'm just really unlucky with them for some reason, but I ordered Phobia and Spinneret together in one order almost 3 months ago from this recording. Now, on the site, it says that it takes about 9 to 12 days for an order to be processed and to presumably arrive. Even if not, at the very least, it makes it seem like it takes between 9 to 12 days, so almost 2 weeks, for an order to process. That is understandable. That is fine. Problem is, it took almost a month for my first order to ship. That is well beyond the window that they gave me. I actually had to contact them to see what was the problem, and I was told that the problem was they needed to wait for a couple of parts to come in. So, fine. I get my delivery, and it's just Phobia. There is no Spinneret. So I contact them, and I say, hey, I got one, but I actually ordered 2 things, and I'm not sure what's going on here. And I was told that Spinneret was on hold because they were waiting for more parts, which seems a bit questionable to me, considering the fact that that is the exact same excuse they gave for Phobia, and Spinneret and Phobia use a very similar set of parts. So I'm not entirely sure if that was actually what the problem was. But for the sake of argument, let's say that that was the problem. So I'm like, okay, cool. They're gonna let me know when Spinneret's ready, and ship her out, and everything's gonna be fine. Over a month went by, and then I finally was like, okay, what's going on? I emailed them and I said, hey, it's been a month since you told me you were waiting on parts for this. What's going on? Are you still waiting for parts? Do you have any idea when it's going to come in? Radio silence until about 3 days later, when it's suddenly like, oh hey, your thing's in the mail, you're gonna get it soon. And I got the set, and okay, cool, that's great. I open it up, and I didn't have the right part. With Phobia, I ran into a similar issue where they were supposed to send me a specific, like there were, all specific pieces, and they gave me the wrong piece in place of the one that I needed. Fortunately, the piece that they gave me by mistake with Phobia, it was like a 1x2 ratcheted platformy thing, and it was supposed to be a 1x2 thing with like a little post going across the side that clips into something, and that still worked. For the intended purpose, it still worked, so fine, whatever, chalk it up to an honest mistake. But the fact that it happened again with Spinneret, and this time it was the very wrong piece. Like, it needed to be a 1x2 with like 2 vertical clips sticking off the side, and instead I got a 2x2 flat tile. That was just wrong. So I emailed them again, and I said, hey, I've got the wrong piece here. And I included pictures. I said, this is the piece that I have, but this is the piece that I'm supposed to have. And I can't make a substitution here because they're not interchangeable. There's nothing I can do about that. And they said, okay, we'll look into it and we'll get back to you tomorrow. Over a week later, I emailed them back and I'm like, forget it. I went to Target, got myself a cheap little Lego kit that had the part I needed, and I'm done. And after like a day, they emailed me back saying, oh, we're so sorry. If you order through us again, we'll give you like a special thing as like thanks or whatever. It's like, no, I'm not ordering through you again. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating because, like I said, I love the idea of MOCHUB. It is fantastic, and I understand that MOCHUB is not a huge business. I understand that it's only run by probably a handful of people. But what happened in this case is clearly just major disorganization going on in the company. And I don't know if it's just circumstantial and I fell through the cracks by chance twice, or if that's just how they operate. But at this point, I don't care. As much as I love the idea of MOCHUB, I'm never, ever going to use them again. And that sucks, because there's lots of stuff on that site that I would love to get, and I would love that money to go, some of that money at least, to go towards the designers. But the amount of time it takes, the runaround, the excuses, the fact that I had to remind them, clearly had to remind them that I was even there and had this issue. I don't want to sound like I'm being unreasonable, but I think that's kind of unacceptable. I don't like complaining about this kind of stuff because I worked retail for a long time and I know what it's like having unreasonable customers. And I know what that's, I hate that, but I don't feel like I'm being unreasonable here. I feel like I'm trying to be as reasonable as possible, and they just have been completely disorganized and made nothing but excuses the entire time. So, I mean, I don't want to say you should or should not use MOCHUB. That's your decision entirely. I'm not, against anyone using it. I don't feel like, nobody should use them. They're an evil company, blah, blah, blah. It's just, this has been my experience with them. It has not been a positive one. And it's a really, really terrible first impression to make. And I just feel like if any of you are considering getting any LEGO kits through MOCHUB, just consider this a heads up. It's possible that you'll order stuff and it'll go through just fine and it'll be great and you'll be wondering what I'm talking about. And if that happens, that's fantastic. I'm glad you're able to get stuff through MOCHUB without any headaches. But I just want to give you all a heads up that this might be an issue. And if by chance you end up having stuff getting delayed, you might want to poke them every now and then in an email to remind them that you gave them money for a thing that they have not given you yet. Anyway, I've ranted about MOCHUB long enough, so yeah, that's the whole thing I was holding back when I was talking about phobia. It was a mess. Thank goodness. Mindbender actually just announced that he is going to be selling PDF instructions for his designs through another site. And yeah, it's just the instructions, and I'd still have to get the bricks. I'd probably have to go through Bricklink or something like that, but I am so much more into that idea because then I don't have to go through MOCHUB. So I can still buy some of the things that he's designed, he'll still get a portion of the money spent, and I will hopefully not have to be quite as infuriated at the process. Fingers crossed. So yeah, that's something that I'm looking forward to.